So we are today talking about the series between the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both teams overcome their opponents by winning 4-3 against, respectively, against the Orlando Magic and the Toronto Raptors. The Detroit Pistons suffered a 3-1 losing streak against the Orlando Magic, but managed to recover from pouring performances and advancing, winning 3 consecutive games, while the Cleveland Cavaliers just won their 4 home games, so keeping their home court advantage. Two differences between the two previous series. It is that the Detroit Pistons managed to win, keeping low scoring points from in the Orlando Magic. Especially an interesting stuff was that for 46 minutes of clock time, the Orlando Magic did not score in Game 6, which was played in their own home, and which was seeing them in advantage of 20 plus points, so which was basically a match point for them, and they did not win, and then eventually lost in Game 7. One of the biggest increase in Detroit Pistons rotation was Tobias Harris, which managed to increase his own points from 13 in the regular season to 21. Although in the same time, Jalen Duren, which played like an all-star through the regular season, as seen, is limited scoring percentages, but also opportunities, which was also the reason because he lost the matchups with Wendell Carter Jr., which was the center for the Magic. Another thing to highlight is that Cade Cunningham tried to solve some of the problems of his own teammates by putting himself into a scoring primary leader when needed, but also providing assists for his own teammates. So which is an interesting thing to see, also because it is like his first playoffs season to be proven to. On the other side, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, which managed to win the 4 games at home, as I said before. One interesting thing to highlight is that they have one of the poorest bench in the playoffs team, qualified to the playoffs, with just 33 points scored by the bench against the 41 for Detroit Pistons, which are basically in the top 5 for this statistic. And Detroit Pistons are also one of the best team in offensive rebound percentage and rebound total in the offensive side against the Cavs, which are not in the top 10. While against the Toronto Raptors, they won many games with high scoring points. Against the Pistons, it will be very interesting to see if they are going to adapt to the low pace and low scoring points matchups offered by the Pistons in the games against the Orlando Magic. And some players of the Cleveland Cavaliers needed to improve their percentages from 3-point line, especially Dion Waite, which was above the 30% in the previous series, while Sam Merrill and also Max Strus, which limited also some of the offensive players in the Toronto Raptors, managed to score with 40% from the 3-point line. So this is an interesting matchup between two different teams with different style of playing. One interesting thing also to highlight is that last year Cleveland Cavaliers managed to win easily against the Miami Heat with just 4 wins and no losses in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs round. But this year also the Toronto Raptors were an interesting matchup to solve for them, and so they are going to be more prepared and more concentrated than last year. Even though these considerations, the young core of Detroit Pistons, their verticality, their intensity, the players like Paul Reed, Isaiah Stewart, Ausar Thompson in first, but also Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, obviously, are going to be much more difficult to contain and to be scouted by the other team. Also because they are not they are very difficult to keep up because of their physicality. So in my opinion, the Cleveland Cavs are going to win maybe 2 games, but they are not taking the series to Game 7, and Detroit Pistons are going to advance to the finals conference.